7 years old, I became one of 3 million Americans with type 1 diabetes. And so began the constant finger pokes and needle sticks. And one of the main components of having type 1 diabetes is using your glucose monitor to test your blood sugar. So before I start, I want to ask you guys, how many of you have been to the doctor's office and how many of you have gotten those finger pricks? Right, almost everyone. So I wanted today to go over the process that your doctors and that me and Diana and Sarah go through on a regular basis to test our blood sugars so that you guys have a better idea of what your doctors are doing, but also so that if it comes down to it one day and you do have a friend who has diabetes and they're unable to test their own blood sugars, you guys might be able to help them out. So I want to start by going over some basics. So first of all, what is diabetes? In essence, and in short, diabetes leaves the person who has it with a pancreas that doesn't produce insulin any longer. And so insulin is needed to adequately break down the sugars and carbohydrates that you ingest on a daily basis. Second, when should someone with diabetes test their blood sugar? When I was first diagnosed, my doctors used to tell me that anytime I put any sort of food or liquid in my mouth, I had to test my blood sugar just to get me in the habit of it. They also told me that someone with diabetes is supposed to test their blood sugar if they feel different than they normally do. If they're sick to their stomach, if they're lightheaded, anything abnormal should lead to you testing your blood sugar. And third, what is an average blood sugar? According to the American Diabetes Association, someone with type 1 diabetes should have a blood sugar between the range of 70 and 140. But when I was diagnosed, they told me between 70 and 150, so it's a pretty big range for us. But for those of you in the classroom without diabetes, your range is a lot smaller. Your range is going to be from roughly 100 to 120. Alright, so before I show you guys how to actually test your blood sugar, I want to show you guys the tools that you're going to need, or that come in every glucose monitor case. So the first are the testing strips. Second is the actual glucose monitor itself. Third is the pricker or the clicker. People with diabetes call it different things depending on what they were taught. I call it the pricker. And then the third is the lancet, which is the actual needle that will be poking you. So now that I've gone over the tools you guys are going to be using, I'm going to go through the process. And the process is different for each individual glucose monitor, but each one comes with a manual, and the steps I'm going to give you guys came directly from the One Touch Ultralink manual, which is the glucose monitor that I use. So I brought mine with me. It doesn't normally come in a purple case. It comes in a black case for the most part, but black always got lost in my backpack, so I switched to using a purple case. So this is the monitor, the testing strips. The testing strips come in a bottle so that you don't lose them. The pricker, and the lancet. So each time you test somebody's blood sugar, you need to make sure that you use a new lancet. Most people are really good about changing them. I, however, am not too good about changing them all the time. It takes a significant amount of time to actually change your clicker. But you take it, you put your new one in, and twist the cap off. And it comes off pretty easily, so you guys can't see the needle, can you? It's really tiny. It's called a 33 gauge needle. So the ones they use at the doctor's office are basically like lances. They like slice your finger open, and these are they're thinner. Second step you guys do is take the testing strips, and mine goes in the top of the meter. All testing meters are different, but they're all pretty similar. So the Juvenile Diabetes Research Foundation says that you can use any meter for the most part once you've learned to use one. So once you've learned to use my kind of meter, you should be able to piece together a different kind of meter if you ever need to. So when you put the testing strip into your meter, it says apply blood, and there's a little strip with a fake drop of blood going down on it. So that tells you that you are ready to test your blood sugar. So basically, all you do is cock the spring back, and it's loaded. And you have to push fairly hard against the person's finger. I'm always worried I'm going to hurt myself, but push back hard enough, and the blood will hopefully come out. My fingers, since I was diagnosed when I was 7, are not as receptive to the needles as they are to newly diagnosed patients. But you put the blood on the strip, and it'll take about 5 seconds for it to work. And then a number should pop up, and my blood sugar is 146, which is within the range, so that's a good thing. So that took me almost a minute and a half, almost 2 minutes to do. but I'm sure my fellow diabetics in the classroom can tell you it takes us about 20 seconds at most to test our own blood sugars. So we're pretty much pros at it. So in short, I hope you guys will take away that it's really not that difficult to test somebody's blood sugar, and in the event that someone with diabetes is having a problem and are incapable of testing themselves, you guys might actually be able to help them. And also, you guys will be able to know what your doctors are doing when they jab you with those needles that your doctors have